fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What we gonna eat no money, what we at you, eat no at you. Covid money, miss away in the yellow correct you. Use the youth, the money, waste for most of man to start you. Say me like a catch you, but they got enough, they got you. Take this skin from money, God and say that is not you. One day the man above and up, him I got up. Too much eating at the kitchen, some fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% free.
It burn me.
Garbage pile of the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption please.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
For me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me know me got bigger. The already promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in our river. Member bowl only and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me.
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me.
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the sun man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me.
Or them a treat soldier man.
It burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again.
Stibby dim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no keep. And some informer friend we lovely. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for We in Global TV. Check it.
Good morning, and welcome to Global Television. Thank you for joining us this morning. Florida was not only hit by Hurricane Milton, albeit at a lower level than it was expected to, but was also hit by a series of tornadoes before the hurricane. So this morning, we're dedicating this morning program to the people of Florida. We want anyone who is in Florida within the zone to mark themselves safe, or if you have relatives in Florida and you have contacted them and they are safe, let us know what the updates are. We've also got photographs to bring you this morning, courtesy of Debbie Jervis TV. So if you're in Florida, let us know if you're safe. And remember, the safety warnings are still to be observed, because you know, say, live wire may be down out there going out in the water. You don't know what danger in it, if there is debris in the water, broken glass and all sorts. Jamaica and Florida have a crocodile problem, or you don't know if crocodile may make them way from one side to the other. So observe all the safety precaution until it is safe for you to venture out. Even if you have to go check on your neighbor or your relative and you're in a particularly flood-prone area, make sure you know venture out without in your water boat. All right? To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls. Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome. We have spoken to Debbie Jarvis TV. She's fine. You've just seen her, done her live. We've also spoken to Carlos. Carlos is fine. Which part Carlos there? Not even donkey never passed and piss and ground because up they try. They may get a little win or so, but they did not get. Abina saw Cody, Beat and Teach, Debbie Jarvis TV, RJ, Echo, Gloria Morris, Jason Kane, Sharon Bernard, Michelle Lewis Wilson, Darcy Brown, Rosemary Samuels. Michelle is in South Florida. I'm thinking I freeze. South Florida, and they're good. Had heavy breeze. Yes, snakes and crocodile, all those things you have to be careful of in the flooded areas. Verna Adams, morning. So please continue to observe the safety precautions until it's safe to do so. Abina Sarkodie is safe. Her relatives are safe also. I'm waiting for water. So make sure, even if you have to venture out to check on a relative or a vulnerable person, make sure you do it with precaution. Because if you don't know by now, you must be under a bushel that Florida is like the 15th parish of Jamaica. So a hurricane in Florida, devastation like that in Florida, is just like it is in Jamaica. Because a lot of our people, a lot of our Jamaicans are living right across Florida and no doubt will be affected by what is going on. Sharon Bernard said her family in Florida is safe. The D Bros, morning. June Plum 26, morning. Let us know if you're in Florida and you're safe, or if your family is in Florida and if they are safe. Noreen Robinson, let us know, give us an update. But as we are aware, Renee Nicholson, I was also worried about them last night, but thank God it's not bad as it was predicted. Yeah, because we expected a landfall based on how it was moving, even though the storm have some confusing behavior at times. Based on how it was moving, we expected, or it was predicted to be a category 5 or 4 landfall, but it managed to whittle its way down. Carlene Richards. It managed to whittle its way down to a much lesser degree, but it has struck a lot of devastation across the Florida, because in some of the news reporting about 64, not 64, something 2 something million people, I think they say, out of electricity. So there's great devastation in that part. And I'm sure when daylights and the damage assessment is done, more and more we're going to see toll of devastation. The Easy Jerk or Wagwan Bro, Pauline Dixon. There's also a report of fatality in some areas. Also, I expect that numbers may rise in the morning when the assessments start coming through. Marcia Thomas, her family in Florida is safe. Yes, made landfall at Cat 3. But the tornadoes, my people, they seem to create havoc in their movement, as Debbie Jervis was explaining to us this morning. They were just picking up things, Mavis Ashmill Barnett. They were just picking up things and throwing them about as if they're toys. Because as Debbie Jervis was explaining to us, these damages are from the tornado that happened before the hurricane. So can you imagine hit by an elephant and then a giraffe run past and kick you? Imagine that. Imagine get run over by an elephant and then a giraffe come along the way and just kick you. So, but before we continue with these clips, let's listen to this video clip from one of the newscasters.
We have this storm surge. You can see it right here, some video here. We'll get a much better idea, of course, this morning as the sun comes up to what kind of damage Milton caused there on the west coast. The system forecasted to remain a hurricane, as TJ just mentioned, until it crosses over Florida, back out into the Atlantic Ocean later today.
So deaths have been confirmed in St. Lucie County on Florida's Atlantic coast, where officials say tornadoes also touched down. Taking a look at some current power outage numbers, more than 2 million people in Florida are without electricity. At least 7 communities are reporting more than 100,000 residents without power, including the ones you see here on your screen. For residents who haven't left, they're taking shelter, including one professor from Rhode Island. Erica Ritchie joins us now live in studio with his story.
And Kate, we know that a lot of New Englanders have strong ties to Florida, either owning property there or having moved there from here, like that professor from URI that you just mentioned. So this is what it looked like as Hurricane Milton made its way into Englewood, Florida last night. This is in Sarasota County, one of the ones we just showed you on your screen that had some of the highest power outages. It's where John Bulmetis lives now, but he is from Rhode Island. In fact, he was a very distinguished professor at URI, serving as a leader in adult education for more than 40 years. But 3 years ago, he became a Florida resident and quickly had to learn their ways when it comes to weathering big storms like this.
Hurricane windows and doors, and been hurricane proofing as much of the house as possible. Bought a generator, so we have that when the power goes out, and we've become Floridians.
All right, this is par for the course, I guess. Bulmetis does still have some strong ties to Rhode Island, so he would have had plenty of options had he decided to evacuate. But he says, at least in his opinion, it would have been more dangerous to leave because of things like traffic and potential lack of fuel. We'll try and check back in with him this morning to see how he's doing now that the storm has made landfall. For now, guys, I'll send it back to you.
All right, medical centers around the country, including here at home, have been conserving their supply of IV fluid bags after Hurricane Helene damaged Baxter International's North Carolina facility. That company is the leading supplier of IV fluid bags in the country. Lifespan tells us they're closely monitoring the availability of some IV fluids and have activated their system-wide hospital incident command to manage and conserve current supplies. Care New England also tells us they've been managing their IV medications to ensure patients are minimally impacted.
It's going to be a busy morning here. Count on us for continuing coverage of Hurricane Milton. We'll be on top of the storm, every angle, every.
Gillette Shakes, morning and welcome. So you heard the devastation already, and a proper assessment hasn't even done, particularly in the worst hit area, because these images are from Debbie Jervis's area. Debbie Jervis area is not even the worst hit area. So we're still waiting. This is car being thrown been picked up and thrown about the place. So the tornado, Keith Matthews, the tornado them seem to behave in a more vicious fashion, albeit them come in a very quick span. But they seem to come with more vicious behavior. And given how them come in force yesterday, I wouldn't think they're quite much over and done and gone yet, Unique Ray, because the way how them come thick and fast yesterday before the hurricane, this is still one of the other risks of tornado. There's also surges, tidal surges, you know, in the, I think, the western belt where it make landfall. So more and more when report coming like this morning from the western belt, I think it will be more, the damages will be more apparent to us. It is possible, let me just do some screen share here and tap into what Fox News is reporting. Bear with. Hold on, these are some images. Hold on, from Fox. They're reporting on some images of the devastation. But as I said, when it gets to daylight, we will be much more aware of the effects, Laurie Gordon. We will be much more aware of the damages caused by Hurricane Milton, as well as a series of tornadoes. There was many of them. In the Jervis County alone, I think there were 20 reported just in one county alone. There were truckloads of them, which create lots of havoc and damages also. So you can see some of the images that Fox is trying to bring forward of some of the areas. But let us tap into one of these live broadcasters and see if we're getting. Let's listen in here for a bit.
And just that 20% chance of a quick shower today. We'll really start to notice that lower humidity tomorrow. And it's not much cooler necessarily, but when you have lower humidity, temperatures do drop into the 60s. So for everyone who has to spend a couple of days without electricity, without air conditioning, a little cooler breeze for you, allow it to sleep, easier to sleep at night when it's not so hot. It is going to be warm and toasty in the afternoon, though. So if you're doing that yard work, if you're doing all of the cleanup, just remember to take care of yourself, take the breaks. We don't have any rain in the forecast through the weekend, just a couple of little stray showers both today and tomorrow. So we'll send it back to you guys because there is at least bright sunshine coming back into our forecast.
Yeah. That is certainly a bright spot, Lee. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn it over now to WFLA Now's JB Buno, who is live in the Stream Center this morning.
Yeah, JB, I'm sure you're hearing from a lot of folks.
Good morning to you both, Avery and Chris. Let's get right into it here. And good morning to our audience that's been watching on WFLA.com, the WFLA app, and then YouTube and Facebook Live, where people have been chatting back and forth, sharing different damage reports, explaining what's been going on in their neighborhood. And it's been fascinating to follow some of that chat taking place. It's also been interesting, of course, to follow the submissions that people have been sending in on WFLA.com/report it. We have our amazing news teams that are out there in respective spots that have been hit very hard, but we can't get everywhere. So this is a phenomenal tool for people that are just waking up, assessing the damage, wanted to share what's going on in their neighborhood, down power lines, down trees. You can send it to the URL on your screen. You can also scan the QR code, of course. And let's get into some of the submissions that have been coming in just the last few minutes. I mean, these we're loading directly in from the most recent queue. So first up here, we have Melanie. This is from Largo, Florida. She says this is Ulmerton Road and Starkey Road and a tree. So often do we see trees coming down on either a home or on a vehicle. This one is on that Mustang in the driveway. You hate to see it, but we're seeing tons of down trees in the area, just like you have been seeing from around the region on the morning show. Let's continue on here. This is Shelly. Oh my goodness. This is Northwest Hillsborough County near Ehrlich Road. I have family in this area, so of course I know this area really well, and it looks like that's a structure that not only is not where it's supposed to be, but has completely collapsed as well. Moving on here, these are just coming in the last few minutes. This is Laura showing just how Milton basically laughed at this tree, snapping it like a twig. I mean, this photo might not do it justice. This is a large tree that has been broken in Tampa, Florida, right, of course, here in Hillsborough County. Karen saying, my goodness, this is Pasco County, San Antonio, a road completely destroyed next to the driveway. Just look at this damage here. This is pretty surreal, to tell you the truth. I'm seeing this for the first time. These are literally just coming into the WFLA newsroom, our team looking at these for the first time and sending them my way. Here's another shot from Karen showing what Milton did to this roadway. This almost reminds me of the sinkholes that we had in Pasco County in recent years, when all of a sudden, the ground underneath a particular roadway or property would just give in. That's the kind of effect that this looks like here. That's the feeling I'm getting. Looking to the next two, Valencia Gardens in Land O'Lakes. Here's a video. John says that this is a flooded roadway, and yeah, you can see that this road appears to be impassable. The sidewalk there covered in the foreground as well. For folks on the other side of the street, it looks like damage was relatively minimal from a flood perspective. We're seeing flooded streets all over the place, especially when we're talking here about Land O'Lakes, really northern Hillsborough to southern Pasco County, that area getting just an incredible amount of rain, as Lee and Amanda have been talking about all morning long. And then lastly, let's get to Laura here. Looks like she is riding shotgun and on a road with a good deal of water on it. She's taking us right here through Tampa, Hillsborough. Let's bring up some audio if we can. And we're seeing a lot of folks now that are getting outside, assessing the damage. We want to remind our audience that we are going to be sending, showing the photos and videos that are coming in to WFLA.com/report it. Just please do so safely and responsibly. Do not put yourself in harm's way for a photo or a video, but we're going to be showing them, of course, all morning long and on the stream. The conversation continues on the WFLA Facebook page, the WFLA YouTube page. I'll be there in just a few minutes to start answering some questions from people. Now that we have first light, people are walking outside and looking at what Hurricane Milton has left behind. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, JB. These photos and videos from all of you out there are really helping paint the picture of exactly what happened when this hurricane moved through.
All right, we'll take a quick break real quick, and our Hurricane Milton coverage continues next. Stay with us.
So yes, my people, you see, there has, hold on.
Our chat. Hoping everyone is okay out there. Let's just do a quick check. How's everybody doing? YouTube Live, saying hello. We'll shout out some names and locations. Where you're watching from? How you doing? I think of the team that went to bed. Well, myself and digital content producer Rachel Tucker, we are, I think, the first ones up. And much to...
Let us see if we find another stream. Sorry about that. Let us see if we find another stream that is given any more information with regards, let me see here, what is
This is the latest blood sugar, blood pressure, and blood oxygen monitor developed by Charité Universitätsmedizin Berlin.
Still going to figure out just how bad things are here. They've been running on calls nonstop, but people are grateful, even though they're dealing with what they're dealing with here, because we know down south, it's so much worse.
You know, I was looking when you were showing me the Duke Power people who are doing what they do. Can you hear me okay?
And Russell, yeah, I just want to show you, and they're already gone. That's how fast they are moving through here. They were there at the beginning of that live shot. They're gone.
But when I was watching them do their work, I was thinking, well, of course they know what they're doing. They know how to do it, but it's dangerous. It's hard. And these are remarkable people who come from all over America to help people out when they're out of power.
100%. I will tell you that those were local guys, because when they jumped out of the truck, they said, we love watching Good Day Tampa Bay. We watch you every morning. And they thanked us for keeping them informed. I said, no. Thank you for what you're doing. But so those are some local fellas, but you're right. There are power companies from around the country and even as far away as Canada staged already here, ready to help and get power back just as soon as possible.
Yeah. Hey, thanks. Take care up there, okay?
Okay, definitely.
Bye.
Unbelievable.
Well, Pinellas County took a pounding during this hurricane.
And Fox 13's Regina Gonzalez is live in Clearwater now, where water rescues are underway. You have been all over Pinellas County this morning. The damage is indescribable.
Yeah, we've been trying to get to everything and cover it all and now I know we got Governor Ron DeSantis speaking, so we will head to him.
All right, and just as Regina Gonzalez was saying, Governor Ron DeSantis has started. Let's go to him right now on Live Now from Fox.
Last night, Hurricane Milton made landfall near Siesta Key in Sarasota County. It moved quickly across central Florida overnight, producing significant flooding and damaging winds near its path. The storm did bring much destruction and damage. Tornadoes ravaged parts of the east coast of the state. Flooding occurred on the west and east coast, and strong winds lashed the state, especially in Pinellas, Hillsborough, Manatee, and Sarasota counties. Over the last 24 hours, heavy rainfall totals upwards of 10 to 15 inches has been observed across much of the Tampa Bay area, Nature Coast, and spreading eastward along north of I-4 corridor towards Sanford. Isolated pockets of up to 18 inches of rainfall and northward towards Gainesville, along eastern portions of the I-4 corridor and south of the western I-4 corridor towards Sarasota. Several rivers reached major flood stage, and major flooding continues along portions of the Hillsborough River, St. Johns River, and Little Wekiva River. Water levels are forecast to continue rising along northeast and west central Florida rivers and waterways, with many forecasts to remain within or reach moderate to flood stage over the next day or so. We had over 80,000 people that were into shelters overnight as the storm hit the state. We will better understand the extent of the damage as the day progresses. And you have people that are out there assessing damage right now. First responders have been working all through the night to help people who are in distress. And what we can say is the storm was significant, but thankfully this was not the worst case scenario. The storm did weaken before landfall, and the storm surge, as initially reported, has not been as significant overall as what was observed for Hurricane Helene. Right now, it looks like Sarasota County had the most significant storm surge, likely somewhere between 8 to 10 feet. And remember, with Helene, we had 15 to 20 feet up in Taylor County. Rescue missions have been underway throughout the night. State search and rescue teams report at least 48 individuals have been rescued as of 0630. National Guard search and rescue teams have worked overnight and successfully executed rescues of families and pets on the West Coast and from the destruction of the tornadoes in the central and eastern parts of Florida. The Guard continues to work into the morning and have 31 rescue aircraft operational and hundreds of rescuers engaged in over 125 active missions in 26 different counties. Over 6,500 soldiers are deployed throughout the state. Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission has made land and water rescues in Pinellas, Hillsborough, and Pasco County. The State Guard has also been engaged in search and rescue, assisting with floodwater evacuations as well as damage assessments. There are currently 3.1 million accounts without power. There have been 635,000 restorations since Hurricane Milton hit Florida. The areas that have the most significant outages as of this morning are Hillsborough, 75% out, Hardy, 97% out, Manatee, 82% out, Pinellas, 68% out, and Sarasota, 75% out. Of course, there are 50,000 plus linemen that have been pre-staged. A lot of what they'll do this morning is likely assess the damage and then begin restoration operations very quickly. And we appreciate everybody that's in that fight because that's very important for a lot of people. Cut and toss have begun at First Light by the Florida Department of Transportation. 328 crews are active in the field with over 350 pieces of heavy equipment and trucks. 150 bridge inspectors were dispatched at First Light and have begun performing inspections to open bridges across the impact areas. As I put in my executive order, residents have a right to be back into their homes as soon as the roadways are deemed safe. In Tampa, the Gandy Bridge and Howard Franklin Bridge have been inspected, cleared, and are open, and inspections of the Sunshine Skyway Bridge are underway. There is debris on the Sunshine Skyway as well as the Courtney Campbell, but once that debris is clear, we anticipate those bridges opening later this morning. Other bridges are being opened as soon as the state inspections are completed. The Tampa Airport is repairing minimal damage and should be open no later than tomorrow. Seaports are awaiting Coast Guard channel surveys to reopen waterside, but as of now, our initial assessments is they will likely be able to resume operations very quickly. We still have a lot of school closures for today. I think Floridians should just keep in contact with their local officials about what that's going to be. I would imagine a lot of the schools that were not necessarily in the direct path of the storm will be open tomorrow. It may take a few more days for some of the places that were harder hit. Now, as you survey damage and clean up, please be cautious of hazards. We have post-storm fatalities almost every storm, and a lot of these fatalities are avoidable. So please be cautious of downed power lines. Don't touch them. Don't remove tree debris that may be entangled with downed power lines. Standing water can conceal downed power lines and other hazards, so please be mindful and never walk through storm waters. Standing storm waters can also carry a bacteria that can lead to fatal infections. This type of infection was responsible for a fatality following Hurricane Helene, so please avoid wading through standing water. Please use proper ladder safety. Please use proper generator safety. Do not operate the generator inside your home. It must be outside, a safe distance from doors and windows. Visit Florida's emergency accommodation modules on Expedia and Priceline will remain available for those who are returning to their homes, which were evacuated during the storm and sustained damage or in need of other type of shelter. So these models will continue to provide real-time hotel availability and lodging resources, making the experience easier for users. If traffic lights are out in your area, please drive with caution and treat each light as you would a four-way stop. And also remember, if you're going to use a chainsaw, be very careful with that. We have mishaps on that after every storm. We are extending the Hope Florida line for another 2 weeks at 24 hours, 7 days a week. So if you need assistance or resources post-storm, you can call 1-833-GET-HOPE, 1-833-GET-HOPE. Hope Florida's Disaster Arm, Activate Hope, is a program designed to help people find help following a disaster such as a hurricane. So you can call the Hope line. You can also visit the Hope bus, which will be in some of these areas very soon, and there'll be announcements about that. Florida Commerce and the State Emergency Response Team activated the Business Damage Assessment Survey in response to Hurricane Milton. Business owners.
Here's a way to get a professional business number on your webpage that's connected to your mobile without a landline.
You can complete the survey online at floridadisaster.biz, floridadisaster.biz. Florida Commerce has also activated the Small Business Emergency Bridge Loan Program. We have $50 million available to Florida small businesses, and it's a zero interest loan, very flexible repayment options. You can apply for loans of up to $50,000 through the program. Loans of up to $100,000 are available for agriculture and aquaculture small businesses, and loans of $150,000 are available for citrus and cattle operations. Again, these are short-term zero-interest loan. You get the cash in your hand. The repayment terms are very flexible. You can apply at www.floridajobs.org/EBL, floridajobs.org/EBL. We've also activated the Florida Disaster Fund for those who want to make tax-deductible charitable contributions that will be used to be able to help Floridians who are in need. And you can go to floridadisasterfund.org, floridadisasterfund.org, if you have any questions. We're going to continue to support all remaining rescue missions that are underway and that may be needed in the near future. We'll also continue to assess the damage that was done from the storm. We also anticipate that because of the amount of water, you may see flooding happen not just now, but in the subsequent days. But I think everybody responded very quickly. I'm proud of everybody's hard work. We got more work to do, but we will absolutely get through this. Okay, Kevin Guthrie.
Good morning, everyone. Governor, thank you for your leadership time and time again. I know you and the State Emergency Response Team will lead the charge as we respond to and recover from this storm. Hurricane Milton officially made landfall. As you heard the governor say, the impacts from the storm are still being felt across north and east central Florida, even right now as that last banding train of rain starts to move offshore. Please, especially if you're in the areas, if you're in those areas of northeast Florida, the east Race Coast, Space Coast, please make sure you're sheltering in place until officials determine it is safe for you to leave. In the first 72 hours after a storm, there was a parallel effort to search, secure, and stabilize the area. As search and rescue missions continued in response to Milton, please do not go out and visit the impacted areas. You will be inhibiting first responders by doing so. Right now, we need those roadways clear for electrical crews, fire crews, EMS crews, urban search and rescue crews. We have 20-something urban search and rescue teams that will move into the area and do a door-by-door search. Even though, as you heard the governor say, this was not the worst-case scenario, we still had damage. And we're going to need to get out there and go door-to-door and make sure that everyone is okay. So please stay off the road. Listen to your local authorities for updates on when it is safe to go outside and when it is safe for you to return to your homes. I know a lot of people evacuated, and we appreciate that. Do not be in a hurry. Check in with your local emergency management agency, your local sheriff's offices to see if they're posting anything on if it's safe to return home. Please make sure you do that. Again, as the governor said, we're going to open up roads and bridges so that you can do so, but there may be extenuating circumstances in the neighborhood level. So please make sure you're checking before you come back home. Major flooding continues along the Hillsborough, St. Johns, and Little Wekiva rivers. I want to take just a moment and just talk about there is going to be another phase to this particular incident, and that is very similar to Hurricane Ian. We have a lot of rain that has fallen over the central portion of Florida. The St. Johns River basin that comes down into Seminole County, Brevard, portions of Brevard, portions of Volusia County, and on up the St. Johns River. Those headwaters have experienced a lot of rainfall. That river takes about 45 days to completely flush itself out to the Atlantic Ocean. So what we're going to be seeing first is impacts down in the Seminole County and surrounding county area. And then you'll see that move up into Palaca, Weelaca, and then on up into St. John's, Flagler, Clay, Duval counties. So that's going to be a long-term effort when it comes to making sure that people are monitoring the situation on the St. Johns River, as well as the ones that I mentioned, the Hillsborough and the Little Wekiva. Some roadways are flooded, which is not a safe situation for anyone. Please do not attempt to walk or drive through floodwaters. Accidents due to floodwaters are 100% preventable. All you got to do is turn around. If you're sheltered in place or when you return to your home and you're looking at the damages around your home right now, do one thing for us. Take out your phone, take some pictures, inside and outside, all four sides of the house, every room inside the house. What are things that you should be documenting? Make sure you're documenting just the physical damages, but then also, since this was a flooding event, we want to make sure that you capture those, what we call high water marks on your home. Do that inside and outside. For a point of reference, when you're on the outside of the home, make sure you get like the doorknob of the outdoor house. That'll give us a reference, a point of reference on how high that water got. If you're on the inside, make sure you have like an electrical socket or a light switch or, again, a door handle on the inside of your home in the picture so that we can get some type of reference as to how high that water is coming. If you're beginning the cleanup process, please ensure you're wearing the appropriate safety gear. Do not attempt to clean up hazardous debris or down power lines. As the governor has said, report all of that to your local authorities. Do not cut any lines. Again, we do not need Florida man and Florida woman out there cutting random lines as they go. You don't know what is a cable line. You don't know what is an electrical line. And probably more importantly these days is you don't know what is a fiber optic line. Most of our 911 lines run across fiber optic. We do not want anybody cutting lines. Let the professionals come in here and identify what it is before it's cut. Remember, again, some roads are still dangerous due to flooding, debris, and potential downlines. Do not risk it. Let our crews get out there and get everything back up and running. For assistance after the storm, call State Assistance Information Line. Again, that's information only, 1-800-342-3557. Help is available in English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole. FloridaDisaster.org/updates for information on the web. And then, of course, follow us at FLSERT on X and Instagram, and Facebook at FDEM. That is the most trusted and fastest source that we have. We have several people helping us out on posting on social media, so that is going to be the best place and the fastest place to get stuff from us. Thank you, Governor DeSantis, again, as together we will overcome this storm.
Okay.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Governor DeSantis, for reestablishing and resourcing this state guard so we can deliver critical emergency response capabilities right to the point of need. Working alongside.
I'll turn this down for a minute. I hope the Jamaican authorities, because we're still in hurricane season and we still live in a hurricane zone. I'm no friend of Ron DeSantis. No friend of Ron DeSantis and Jeholdness. But this is what you call leadership. Addressing the nation, informing the nation, reassuring the people and Jeholdness, instructing the people and Jeholdness. Ron DeSantis never jumped in a helicopter with camera and tripod. They're just like a Florida. They're just like a Florida. You see the amount of information, the huge address that the governor of Florida made to the people of Florida. It took about 2 weeks before Andrew addressed us properly after burial.
We are fortunate
and you was touring the nation. You see how informed Ron DeSantis is. They're just like, you know, but all the different agencies. Marcia Gray, are you in Florida as well? All the different agencies kept Ron DeSantis informed.
FWC officers, we have unique equipment, training, and support from Governor DeSantis and Director Guthrie to be able to provide immediate support in the wake of natural
Listen, Marcia Gray, all right, that's good, that's good.
The use of specialized equipment like
Well informed, Andrew Holness. Ron DeSantis never have to jump in a copter.
And that's exactly what
Him never have to fly around the state of Florida to show care to the people of Florida and the wholeness. This is how it is done. You don't hear Andrew Wholeness, hurricane preparedness. Them have people from Canada to help them get them power back up and running. Them have people from other states on the outskirts of Florida waiting for their light this morning for running and help. Andrew Holness, did you hear that? Somebody send this live, go get Andrew Holness, make him listen to Ron DeSantis, and maybe so when next hurricane, then the Prime Minister don't have to fly around the country. Walk and get all our images then for election campaign. Then tell the nation 2 weeks after bugger all and sod all. To date, the people have not received. You see how Ron this morning in the star. Last night the thing landfall. And this morning Ron DeSantis I tell farmers and livestock farmers where they can go get help. Andrew Holness. Somebody send a live go get a man there because you need to use this as a study, Andrew.
So again, these efforts are ongoing. They're ongoing
in hurricane disaster and preparedness.
In northern Florida. So please be aware if you're in
you need to
area, be aware of this.
Because whether you agree with a person or a leader or not, if good, excellent leadership is being displayed, one cannot avoid saying it.
Continue with the rescue operations as
See the Prime Minister of Jamaica walk up and down and walk Obia. Inga India and go walk Obia. Inga St. Mary, Inga walk Obia. Inga down Manchester yesterday. I want to hear the Obia some of you.
Fuel is flowing. Hopefully we get our.
Your mom and Shame will grow you up as an Adventist. Even though the Adventists them walk Obia in a quiet, but them not walking so broad in like you, Andrew Holness. Do it like Adventists now. Walk it in a quiet, walk the Obia in a quiet. Nobody know say I go be in a mother bath pan. But for Adventists, you don't mind washing a mother bath pan right in the square, right at forward where everybody can see you. You're not afraid for washing a mother bath pan. What to you on the Obia, my youth? But there's a great lesson for Andrew Holness and the Jamaica Authority in Ron DeSantis' address this morning. They're just like a Florida in my people.
We've received no confirmations. I imagine there's going to be some confirmations.
They're just like a Florida. Go back and look at the video them when buried, how long it took Andrew Holness to address the nation.
Does the state have any sort of? How the hell would a Wall Street analyst be able to know?
Look how long it took for Andrew Holness to address the nation after Gilbert. They not like AM after burial. They not like in Florida yet. And you see Ron DeSantis come with all in different people them were responsible for and control different agencies. Andrew Holness, this is how it is done. Jamaican
terms of all
authorities,
see the entire
this
Tampa Bay
is
area
how
underwater.
it
That did
is
not
done.
happen. The storm surge and it was most acute in Sarasota. And I think it
You
was a little
notice the
bit more than
priority?
Sarasota got for Helene.
Them
but it
and
wasn't
make
like
sure
I think it was 8 to 10 feet.
amongst
Helene, of course,
everything,
got
them
almost to
get the
20 in
power
Delaware
and the
County.
internet back
And then I
up
think
and
with
running
storm
as soon
weekend,
as
I
possible.
think most of, I mean, I'm not saying there's not going to be damage. There will be. It cut across the state in a way that Helene did
2
not.
weeks
But in terms
before
of
Andrew Holness adjusts
the
us
morning
properly.
after, if I think back to like Hurricane Ian, I
2
don't
weeks.
think that you're looking at similar amount of damage to
The
Ian.
Prime Minister
And
was
then with
flying
Helene, there may
all
be
across the
more
country,
overall damage. There may
hugging
not. I
people,
don't know. But
shaking
the
hands.
surge did not reach Helene levels. I mean, Helene was
It took
producing
over a
major
month
surge all across the west coast of Florida, and then
for a
in
lot
Big
of people
Bend,
to
it
get
was
back
just biblical.
electricity across
That
the
was not
country.
necessarily what we have in here. Anything
Over
north of
a
the storm
month.
had minimal surge on the west coast, and it was really kind of that Sarasota, Charlotte Harbor, down in.
But we hope our authorities learn something from this. Let us continue to listening to them a bit, because I think this is very good information for the people of Florida.
The extent of the damage, but what I think we can say is, we have a lot of resources and sole focus so that we get people back.
The area, Tropicana Field, sort of shattered. It's my understanding that they were relocated on Wednesday.
Yeah, they were relocated. So, I mean, the Tropicana Field is a routine staging area for these things. The roof on that is not rated for, I think it's rated for 110 miles an hour. And so, the forecast changes, but as it became clear that there was going to be something of that magnitude that was going to be within the distance, they redeployed them out of Tropicana. So there were no state assets that were in Tropicana Field. I think Duke also removed all their assets as well. And you look, I mean, the roof is basically, it's like a fabric almost with that. So that was something that we understood and acted accordingly. They were moved before the storm. I mean, and so there was no issue with anything with that.
Main break in St. Petersburg. My understanding is, like, at least earlier this morning, the city had no access.
We can talk about that. I know he's been engaged in that.
Yep. So about 1:40 this morning, I received a phone call. Woke up, got over here from that building to this building, got over here and started working the issue. Right now, there are several water main breaks throughout Pinellas County, different water systems. Some are municipal, some are county. But what they're doing is they're slowly raising pressure in those lines to actually figure out exactly where the breaks are at. And they're going to start repairing those breaks one by one by one. You may start to see some things come out of the hospital industry. We have stabilized the hospital situation. There is one active evacuation of a hospital right now. I do not have the name of that hospital. We can certainly get that back to you through our folks. But we have stabilized the water pressure in 4 out of 5 hospitals from getting any worse. So we're going to continue to closely monitor that throughout the day. But again, one active evacuation going on, but we have stabilized. We have water tankers on site pushing pressure back into the systems. But I think our biggest thing to talk about, or I should say talk about, but the biggest thing right now in that Pinellas St. Pete area is going to be the water system. But we're working in conjunction to see how we can support and supplement the cities and the county on what resources they need. We've already dispatched logistical folks into the area. We've sent in engineers on our dime to be as helpful as we can. In one situation, it may be a gasket or a flange. In another situation, it may be a complete water main break. But we stand by ready to support Pinellas and St. Pete and other municipalities to help them get that water back on and running. Because again, power and water are right there together. We can do a lot with power, but we got to have water.
Back to the Kinder Morgan Central Florida pipeline system.
Jason, I don't have anything on that particular pipeline system, but I'll find out what I can offline, and we'll close the loop back with you guys. All right.
Will that impact any of the post-storm recovery efforts given that they're in Jacksonville?
No, well, they're not in. I mean, there's some came from Jacksonville originally. Kevin put them in different places to just ride out the storm and then come back in. So no, it's not going to have any major impacts at all. These are just things you've got to do. I mean, you stage and you figure out kind of how to go. They were staged during Helene there, and it worked well. When the forecast said that it may not make it through with the roof, then they adjusted accordingly. But they're in the fight and they'll continue to do it. Okay, thanks.
And that was the first major update from Governor Ron DeSantis and the rest of his state officials after a very, very long night for so many Floridians as the winds continue to whip throughout the night. And of course, the threat there of flooding for so many homes. And we'll continue to get the latest updates from officials, not only Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, but other city officials, county leaders as well. Do want to show you the aftermath here of Milton right now as it is pushed off to the east. And we saw that rare moment as it came on from the west coast there of Florida as a hurricane and left as a hurricane as well there. But coming up in just moments, we will be talking to Mike's weather page, Mike Boylan, storm chaser that we have been talking to the last couple of days. He always joins us when there is major storms. We had him for so many times during hurricane.
I think this is great leadership from Ron DeSantis. And I hope our leaders, given that we live in a hurricane zone, we're still in the hurricane season and can be hit and could be hit by another hurricane before the season ends. This is Florida, second hit since this season. This is great leadership. And I hope our leaders can learn from this, that when we have such a disaster, the Prime Minister, and as I told Andrew Holness from then, the Prime Minister is not required to go around the country assessing damages. The country have agencies such as ODPEM and local government and fire, police, and all others. Those are all the different people who fed information into Ron DeSantis, so Ron DeSantis could come to the public crack of dawn and inform the public, but more so reassure them of what the state is going to do, the measures that the state is taking and has already been taken and will be taken. The reassurance of the people's safety, the reassurance of making sure the people know that your necessities such as your light and your water and your internet, we are working very hard to make sure those are back up and running. This is leadership, Andrew Holness. Please learn something from this. Watch the video and learn something from this. It is important to us because we live in a hurricane zone. Every year or ever so often, we're going to have to entangle with what we entangle in a Gilbert, Ivan, Dean, Beryl, and the whole lot. Up until today, Andrew Holness and his different state operatives has not addressed the people of Jamaica in a press conference. Has not. When him do feel to come speak to the nation in a parliament, some people start walk and pick up them zinc and knock on back on them roof already. You still yet to know how much help Jamaicans have received, even though them have said we do it out of our pocket we never do it out a begging bowl. But we know so not get whole heap out a begging bowl. So with the begging bowl money there, and your wholeness. Here's the begging bowl money. Because on us say all of this was covered out of the Jamaica's budget. When you put it in a pocket, when you never have to hand out on a cap or on a bowl. But we know say do people throw in a cap and in a bowl. Where the cap and bowl money there? Where is the cap and bowl money? Because up until now, when you don't come in front of it and give we a good tally and say, at this we get out of the cap and bowl and we are going to X or we are going to Y with the cap and bowl money. Up until today, everybody act like we not see and we not hear the whole heap of people them will throw money in on no cap. But when Andrew want making grandstanding, Andrew and Nigel tell us that, oh, our economy has done so well that we did it on our own. We not did it on our own and now the economy fall apart. So now meet 2030 in a decline with this economic cycle.
So we're going to keep making our way around Bradenton. But again, the big takeaway that I do want to continue
Precisely.
is that if you're thinking about headed back,
The help to the people, addressing the people, dealing with the people is not based on partisanship. Ron DeSantis is the governor for Florida. And as the Florida premier, he is responsible for everybody in Florida. He's not there to look after the affairs of Republicans until Democrats say, I have to look after my own people then. I know so it go. It is about the people. I don't think you realize me never even look for such a address from Ron DeSantis until about 9-10 o'clock Florida time, to be honest with you. I wasn't looking for an address from him until 9-10 o'clock Florida time. This is to show you, Andrew Holness, that they've been working throughout the night, all the different agencies throughout the night have been gathering all the necessary information, as well as there will be a flurry of information in their next press conference at some point later today when them get aggregate of the total destruction across the state. Yes, he was giving. Where's it, Debbie? He was giving update on he was getting update all night. But Andrew, after yes, a good working team, the Easy Jerk World. Andrew make it look like him won in a Jamaica. When the storm done, Andrew have to fly around the whole country before Andrew Holness addressed the nation. Andrew Holness and his team of FEMA, police, fire, health worker, and all sorts. We have not had an address from Andrew Holness to date. I'm going to Parliament and him tell us a few lies. But nothing. The nation was in a daze. The nation was confused. The nation was lied to about water and electricity. How quick them are going to have it back up and running. particularly in my community, water still not come back properly yet, even though them get light.
What happened? Can you kind of explain what your night looks like?
And this is October. But when you listen to the government, them will tell you how hard they have worked and all of the galanging they have done. You see Randy Santos, I tell nobody about state ID and document this and document that. Him say call to get help. Him tell you the place them must call to get different type of help. Andrew Holness tell the people of Jamaica, swear, don't have internet now light. Say go up online, go do this and go listen that and go watch that. Go put it online. The same people them who don't have electricity and internet, the Prime Minister, I tell them say go up online. That's true. Echo me regularly blame the people of Jamaica. For one, selling them vote. Two, them tribalism. And as a nation, from 2015, we weren't paying close attention to Andrew Holness. The Andrew Holness today has been that Andrew Holness then. We were tribalized and mesmerized by this young boy. But one thing you should remember, say anybody so say big and tall, so they're always big and good for nothing. And it's really the politics of our Prime Minister. Big and so. But Andrew Holness has always been a tyrant. Ask Christopher Tufton and Arthur Williams. Not change about Andrew Holness. Listen to Zara Burton investigation. Nothing don't change about him. And we never focus on him. And we never focus on him. Not change. Him not get any teefer than when he was in opposition. Him only craft different ways of stealing.
We really appreciate you. We do know that local first responders, they put that sign up.
Missy people are walking and put out $1.5 million. For them, we tell them, for people tell them where Andrew teeth. Come out of Era house and go use the $1.5 million, go buy some block and cement, put on capture land. I'm not going to tell you to take $1.5 million buy land. Take buy black steel and cement and go drop it on capture land. Yeah. Can have $1.5 million figure away. Even when you're not so hungry. When you have $1.5 million, take it go buy black cement and sand. And drop it on capture land and come out of Era Clark house. Walk around and have to smell Era fart every day and have 1.5 million to throw against wall. And these are the people who continue to go around and confuse the minds of the people of Jamaica because of tribalism and personalities. Because Jamaica people don't understand policies, you know. They've been geared. They've been geared to focus on personalities. And then nobody not have to tell you about policy because policy not important. Because you're like, bro God, my Prime Minister. We good Prime Minister. Andrew. Yeah. I that to no love. I that to no vote for. So we won't get there. See, we won't get there. You know what Andrew Holness is working for his legacy? Andrew Holness is saying, don't honor legacy. Andrew Holness will obviously. For the older we talk saying of legacy. What a day when Rydell get exposed like P. Diddy, Andrew Holness, and Darrell Vaz and Rhoda. What a day. When the second Kevin Simmet get exposed, because remember saying, no, same one who did have Kevin Simmet, a murder, rape, and sacrifice young boys, you know, Jamaica. On a political class and celebrity class in a Jamaica. A same way, one did have Kevin Simmet let loose on the people them. Like how we have Rydell Rowe let loose on the people them. But if you want to get rich, just go to Jamaica, go put on one suit and go in a one church and talk any fuckery and you become rich overnight. I challenge you. If you're fed up of poorness, just try it. Me say, if you're not fed up of being poor, just try the church. But make sure you get on the rostrum. If in the pew you sit down, you get F. But if you want to get rich, if you want to run away from a poor life, get on the podium. That's where criminality runs reign free, unchecked. Unchecked criminality, stealing, essay, and graping. Just get on the pulpit and all your sorrows will be over. Especially if you can't speak in the Anansi and the Dopey story. Hey, money that you're waiting for. If you're fed up and you want to run away from poorness, run to the podium. Thank you very much for being here with us this morning. We will keep an eye on what is going on in Florida, and we will continue to bring you updates of what is going on in Jamaica's 15th parish. Because if you never know, Florida is the 15th parish of Jamaica. So anything happening in Florida concern all of us. It is our 15th parish. In the Port Royal breakaway, Jiffway Farway. So never mind, Florida still belongs to us. Good morning and good afternoon from the Global Television Group.
The system fully engulfed Florida there. So, yeah, these are just